We are ready to roll on this week 2 from our brand new studios at Hudson Square in New York City, and delighted that you are up with us early. Let's go for countdown. You know who we are. We are fired up, gentlemen, after a huge week 1. Again, massive games on the schedule and sneaky huge news around the league as we kick off this Sunday, and that is where we begin with Adam Schefter. As always, good morning, Shefty.
Good morning, guys. Happy week 2, and Brock Purdy is out today for the 49ers, but there is an outside chance he could be back next Sunday for the Arizona Cardinals. Made a lot of progress from that toe injury this week, despite the fact that he will not play today. Without Purdy on the field, Mac Jones will make his first start for the 49ers 4 years after they considered taking him with the 3rd overall pick in the draft, and they believe that the environment around him with the 49ers roster will elevate his performance today. But there are a whole lot of issues for the 49ers today. George Kittle on injured reserve out. Brandon Ayuk remains on PUP out till midseason. Juwan Jennings, however, is expected to play today, and they won't know till pregame whether Trent Williams can play. If he can't, Spencer Burford would step in at left tackle. Meanwhile, the Chiefs won't have Xavier Worthy today. He was ruled out yesterday with that dislocated shoulder that he suffered in a friendly fire play with Travis Kelce right there. He has a chance to be back next Sunday night against the New York Giants. They'll have to make do without him, but keep this in mind. Patrick Mahomes never has lost 3 straight games in the NFL as a starting quarterback. He lost in the Super Bowl to the Eagles. He lost last week to the Chargers, and today he gets a rematch against the Eagles as he tries to avoid his first 3-game losing streak in the NFL.
Yeah, Shefty, the one thing they can hang their hat on, perhaps they're at Arrowhead Stadium. They've won 12 straight games there at home, but they'll be without Xavier Worthy today. So let's start opening kicks there. Randy, what do they do without him?
Man, abracadabra. Man, Patrick Mahomes is going to need some magic, guys. He's going to need some magic. Last week, 16 targets to Hollywood Brown. He dropped his first one, but then he showed up later in the game. Well, who's going to be able to catch the intermediate route? Ladies and gentlemen, Juju Schuster, get north and south. Well, he's going to have to pull a Travis out of his hat. Well, there he is right there, Mr. Travis Kelce right there. He still has the playmaker, but who's going to be in the deep part of the field? I don't know. Patrick Mahomes is all on you, man. Pull the magics from somewhere.
Well, the biggest game, in my opinion, Bears against the Lions right here. Ben Johnson, what an incredible job this young man did with the Detroit Lions as the offensive coordinator. Nobody was more creative than Ben Johnson. And now let me tell you something. All of these trick plays, who's going to run more of them? Is it going to be Chicago? Is it going to be Detroit? Because last week, Detroit was like watching paint dry. It was awful. Dan Campbell, that's your offense too. We know it just as much as was Ben Johnson's. Watch out for those Lions. They're going to come back. Expect some trick plays out of the Lions today. Let's go, Lions.
I hear you, Rex Moss. You talking about magic. How about a disappearance act for the Pittsburgh Steelers defense last week? What was it? I mean, I'm used to this steel curtain where they're holding teams at 100, 200 yards, getting after the quarterback, destroying quarterback. Where was TJ Watt? They allowed almost 400 yards. That's a curtain with holes in it right now. That's what I'm seeing, and that's what I want to see today. I can't wait to see this one. If the Steelers defense bounce back, that's what I'm excited to see. TJ Watt, go get you some today.
I hear you, Teddy. All right, let's go Giants at the Cowboys. And listen, to put it frankly, I'm going to need this Giants offensive line to play a whole lot better. Listen, Johnny Unitas couldn't play quarterback for this team. Speaking of, there is Mr. Unitas, one of the greatest to ever do it, just slinging it. But back to the Giants. Russ had absolutely no chance, got crushed all day. Their starting left tackle, Andrew Thomas, is doubtful today, or as my good friend Randy Moss likes to say, outful. This team is going to have to play better up front if they're going to have a chance. I mean, again, there he is, Russ on his back. I need to see it today, Giants. Come on.
That's our new injury designation.
Outful.
Outful. Doubtful is outful. Dak Prescott, doubtful the Giants can beat him. They haven't done it in forever. Again, Dak has beaten the Giants in 13 consecutive matchups. That's a critical game between 0-1 teams in the division. They're in the early window today. And Dan Campbell, Rex, you mentioned it. You want to see creativity out of this Lions offense. They have a critical showdown with the Bears.
And you know what I'd like to see, too? Meet at the 50-yard line with your old offense coordinator and punch him right in the face. Let's go, Big Dan. Let's go. Let's go.
Seahawks and Steelers in Pittsburgh today. Maybe it's DK Metcalf's revenge game against the team he began his career with. This a week after Aaron Rodgers at 41 threw the most touchdowns in the league week 1, the only quarterback with 4 touchdowns, doing it against one of his former teams in the Jets. Good mobility, 3 of those touchdowns outside the pocket. He enters today 1 away from tying Brett Favre for the 4th most touchdown passes in NFL history. Rodgers, Favre, obviously all the history there. Sal Paolantonio there to watch it in Pittsburgh with the Steelers. Sal, you were there for Rodgers' debut last week. What should we expect from him today against Seattle?
Yeah, so we're in Pittsburgh this morning, Michael, and sometimes a headline just does it for you. It tells you the whole story. This is a quote right here from Aaron Rodgers about DK Metcalf. He's all about the right stuff. And when you look at what happened last week, DK Metcalf had 7 targets, most on the team, and he had 4 catches. All of them went for first downs. But you dig a little deeper into what the Steelers did on offense, and you see that Aaron Rodgers was so good on play action. 9 of 11 on play action for 102 yards. 3 of his touchdown passes came on play action. As we know, it's been the hallmark of his career. 136 touchdown passes out of play action, most of any quarterback since Aaron Rodgers became a starter in 2008. And the screen game last week, 9% of their offense called by Arthur Smith was in the screen game, most in the league in week 1. So it's kind of remarkable. I've been covering the league for 32 years, and I've never seen anything like this, where you have a quarterback from the East Coast. Aaron Rodgers comes from the Jets. DK Metcalf comes from Seattle, all the way from the West Coast. You put them in a new offense, and they coordinate so quickly. The chemistry, the coordination, the communication has been really terrific in just a short order that they could get this together. Today, however, against Seattle, much different defense with Mike Macdonald than Aaron Glenn. Aaron Glenn, uber aggressive. Mike Macdonald will sit back in that 2-deep cover shell and make you earn every yard. So the Steelers know, 1, they got to protect Aaron Rodgers better than they did last week, and they've got to run the football better. Only 2.7 yards per carry last week against the Jets. But amazing what they've done in such a short period of time here in Pittsburgh on offense, Michael.
All right, Sal, you'll have an interview with DK Metcalf as he gets set for this matchup against his former team coming up. But, Alex, as we looked at many different ways at what Aaron did last week against the Jets, one of the things you said was he looks like he's buying in. What does that mean?
Yeah, exactly, Greeny. Listen, there's this narrative about Aaron that he has to have it his way, right? That he's entitled, he's stuck in his old ways. Rex, you love to grill him on this, and I just think it couldn't be further from the truth. He has really bought into this Arthur Smith offense, and it's paid dividends, especially week 1. Let me show you what I'm talking about.
Oh, show
Going
us
up to the
something,
screen here.
man.
Going up to the screen here. Look out, Teddy. Here we go. Okay, this is from last week. Again, Aaron Rodgers, now he's wearing the black and gold. And where do we find him in this Arthur Smith offense? Under center, right? We haven't seen him there in a while. Hard play action fake. Look at the effect it has on these linebackers. Watch the defensive end backside. Again, here we are, tackling the running back. And look at this guy, right? In the trail position already, trying to trail his coverage, obviously, that walks into the end zone for an easy score. Again, haven't seen this in a long time. This is later in the game. Again, hard play action pass. Look at the effect. And look at the backside corner. Getting bad eyes here into the backfield, read and run. Jump pass by the old man, 41-year-old, into the corner for another touchdown. Right, you heard Sal Powell say it. 3 of his 4 touchdowns on play action pass movements, right? We didn't see any of this from the Jets the last couple years. This guy can still do it. I just think it's a sign. Listen, this marriage with Arthur Smith, they want to run the football. They want to play action pass. This guy can still do it, even though he's getting a little older.
You know, I would really want to talk about what Sal talked about Aaron Rodgers and the right stuff. The right stuff meaning DK Metcalf. I remember we showed at the beginning of SportsCenter of the plays that DK Metcalf was able to make last week. And I said, one thing about DK Metcalf when he came into the National Football League, big body, big presence, so what? He can only go downfield. Well, what did you show last week? I wish they could put some highlights up from what he did last week. Being able to put the ball in this young man's hand and making him get somewhere, making the defense tackle him. Sal Powell said that Coach Macdonald was going to sit back in that cover two shell, keep everything in front of you. So you know what I expect? The same stuff from last week. Put the ball in DK Metcalf's hand. If there's one particular route against cover two, Rex, it'd be a cover two, because that's what tore your defense up.
Oh, my goodness. All I know is they better play some run defense, because I think if you're going to play all that cover two, I expect Pittsburgh to run the ball. I think it's going to look a lot different this week. But I do agree with you, Alex, I haven't seen this from Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
I never expected it. I don't think anybody did, but he looked healthy. And, yeah, he's buying in, but they've got to be able to run the football. This is not the Pittsburgh Steelers of old. Look, Aaron looked like the Aaron Rodgers of old, but the Steelers themselves, what they, pride themselves on, the steel curtain, man. Look, they gave up 129 more rushing yards to the Jets than they gained during that game. Hardly steel curtain numbers. So, to me, I think they got to get back to the basics, run the football, especially against that cover two shell, Randy, and that's what I expect in this game.
Yeah, and Aaron's, you're just not going to have that type of production from your quarterback every single
No
week.
question.
Right.
Yep. No question.
I was like, it's not an anomaly, but it's like, whoa. I mean, where did this come from? This isn't the team I expected. I mean, I like I said last week, really high expectations for this Pittsburgh Steelers team. But if there's one unit I want to watch from week one to week two, it's the Steelers defense, because that was not what I'm used to seeing. And I know Justin Fields is a hard quarterback to game plan, and he causes you a lot of problems. But this is the type of game that these Steelers rushers are made for. Get after Sam Darnold. Put some pressure on the passer. Steeler defense has to come to play today.
And Sam Darnold is notorious for holding the football a little longer. Watch out, man. T.J. Watt could have a huge game.
To go back to this Pittsburgh offense, they got a tough test today, though. The Seahawks front is stout. They play tough. And listen, they only had 50 yards rushing last week, right? Those play-action passes work. And to your point, Teddy, I don't think they can rely on 4 touchdown passes every single week out of Aaron. They do need to get better in the run game. They weren't great at it last week, but again, it's a tough test against Seattle.
2.7.